Your retention rates are elite, world class. Yeah, 2% at 570 active.
Yeah.
That's elite, dude. How the do you do it?
What's worked well for us is
A lot of people might look at what you've done and gone, he's lucky. He's just lucky.
I don't think anyone could look at F45 and say that we've been lucky. I was in the studio every single day doing all the emails, doing all the marketing, which I had no idea what to do. I had no idea what pre-sales was.
Was there a moment when you thought, fuck, I don't know if I can keep doing this?
It was either get it done or just die.
It's not just a fluke, right?
The one thing I learned very quickly with F45 is making it more than a workout, right? You talk about your spaces, your home is your first space. I want F45 and now FS8, I want that to be our members' third space. It's their happy place.
For studio owners looking to scale, what are your top strategies? What's the biggest operational or mindset shift they need to make? What separates the best from the rest?
For me, or what I would say is,
what separates the best from the rest? Today we've got Ian from the #1 global F45 studio, and we're getting into all the unfiltered details of how he runs his business, what separates him from everyone else. And, my intention with this is to leave a lot of tactical clues behind for those of you that are also wanting to do your very best. Ian, how are you, man?
I'm excellent. Thanks, mate. Good to see you.
This is cool, hey?
Very cool.
So, mate, do you want to just quickly introduce yourself?
Yeah, sure. Ian Smith, currently based in the Cayman Islands. I've lived here for 9 years now, or coming up on 9 years. Originally from Australia, from the Gold Coast. I left Australia about 2010, lived in London for a bit, and then, ended up in the Caribbean.
That's right. How'd you even get there?
I'd never even heard of it, to be honest.
Really?
I was a lawyer previously, and working as a lawyer in London, heard about an little offshore island that had Commonwealth law. So skills were apparently easily transferable. Visited it once, loved it, and made the decision to move.
That's unreal, mate. Okay, let's set the stage. Can you give the listeners a bit of a recap of your current numbers so far, just to sort of set the stage? I want to kind of touch on some of the obstacles that you overcame along the way, because I think a lot of people might hear the highlight, but you and I talk a lot, right? Because you're a client of ours, and there's definitely some challenges that you faced along the way, but it's more about how you overcame them. So let's set the stage first. What does success look like in your studios across the board?
If we focus on F45 to start, we've been open 8 years now. We're currently sitting on, or starting this year off, around 570 active members. So that's a high for us. That's good. Revenues where we like it to be. Obviously being #1 globally, 2023, we had a good year, and we've had a better year 2024.
Excellent.
Revenue-wise, and the numbers show that in terms of the membership numbers. We've got a big space, which helps. Class capacity is quite large. We run a large number of classes as well. Yeah, that's where we're sitting at the moment, and we're still trying to grow.
That's what we like about working with you. There's always areas to improve, areas to optimize, and you do drive a standard of excellence. You've also been busy in December, just before Christmas. What happened just before Christmas?
Quite busy, yeah. I launched FS8, so an F45 sister brand.
Yeah.
My wife also launched a kids gym, My First Gym, which is actually an Australian franchise as well.
Is it?
It is, yep. We've been in discussions with My First Gym since COVID. That's been in the works for 2.5, maybe 3 years. A lot of delays for various reasons, but we finally got the green light to open about a week, 10 days before Christmas Day. So it's been full on.
Okay, and so for this FSA, just kind of your initial numbers so far, how's the traction been?
The response has been phenomenal. An unknown brand, as F45 was when we brought F45 to the island. To put it in perspective, our initial foundation member target was 150. We blew through that, so we recalibrated and set 200, and we ended up at 274. It's been a great start. We did a 2-week soft launch for our VIP members over the Christmas period, and then this week is our first full week in the studio, fully up and running, getting new members in, new sign-ups. So it's been good.
So you haven't just fluked it once. Like it's not just a fluke, right? What we want to do with these episodes is we actually want to get into not just the highlights, but like, how the fuck do you do it? What do you do differently than everyone else that seems to replicate success and excellence across the board?
I'm not sure if there's any one thing or set of things that I do differently. I think everyone who succeeds has a certain work ethic, a certain drive, and a certain passion. Well, I know that's what's helped me with F45 and now FS8 is just having a real passion for the business, a real passion for, meeting people and wanting to speak to people and wanting to help and change lives. I love it. I'm in the studio from 5 a.m. and At the moment, I'm in from 5 a.m. till 8 p.m. most nights. We've worked hard to kind of get me out of that situation on the F45 side, but I think it's been really important for me to get to meet the members, get to know them. I think that's it, is a passion for wanting to help.
Everyone fucking says that though, dude. And not everyone has 500 and something members in one studio. There must be something else. There must be an intensity. There must be a way that you run your team, a way that you look at business.
I'm not sure if it's unique. Maybe it is, but one thing I learned very quickly with F45 is we're in the people business, right? Like we are, like, you know, I've already mentioned we're here to change lives. And I think not so much where some people go wrong, but I think where people do well is by, and it's not just about being in the business, right? But it's learning names. That's number one. It's learning names, getting to know people, customer service, being personable.
I'll tell you what I see, and we've hung around for long enough now. I see when we meet high performers, what's typical of high performers is they don't know what they're doing to generate the high performance. What I see is, because I think it's just not, they just think it's pretty normal. They think everyone does it this way. Surely everyone does this. But no, you do kind of operate with a different set of programming in your head. I see a standards that you set in place, starting with you basically telling the business what it needs to do, i.e. those goals, and then recalibrating and then having again. Like you probably don't realize, and we meet a lot of studio owners, a lot of people can't even tell you what their goals are. They just want more. So first thing is you've got standards around the goals that you want to set. And then I know that you have standards around the team. You lead by example, I think is a big thing as well. So when people are listening to this and they go, okay, well, Ian's obviously knows everyone's name. He must be there a lot. Yes, we've worked on that. But what that's actually done is it's set an example of how we interact with our customers and the level of which we make our member happiness like the core of the culture. What's your churn percentage at the big studio?
At F45 is around just under 2%.
That's, 2% at 570 active. That's elite, dude. That is bonkers. You know that? We've told you that. You know that, right?
Yeah.
Your retention rates are elite, world class. If you had to kind of like one or two things that you would like really hand on heart say, this is amongst, you know, some of our secrets on how to keep members engaged and coming back week after week, what would that be?
Engagement. Coaches being engaged, engaging with the members, making the members feel welcome, building the community. I hear it a lot from friends and people I meet that they've heard of F45 because they know a number of people that go there. You know, right now it's, my friend goes to FS8 and is absolutely loving it. But it's not just a gym. It is, and I know that's one of F45's slogans, right? Not just a gym, but a community. That's what we've really focused on. Cayman is a small place. You know, word of mouth is a big thing. When we do things right, we do it well. That word travels quickly. And obviously on the other side of it is if we don't do things well, it travels quickly and can really shoot us in the foot. Just been very conscious of that since the day we opened with F45, just making sure that every experience is just top notch and we're delivering the best possible experience every single time.
What's one thing tactically that you guys do, yourself and your team do, in the department of retention that someone listening could start doing next week to get 2% churn at 570? Like, that's fucking nuts.
It's got to be, I mean, I'll come back to community, but I think kind of expanding on that, it's making it more than a workout, right? You know, you talk about your spaces, you know, your home is your first space, your work is your second space. Like I want F45 and now FS8, I want that to be our members' third space, not the pub, not the beach. It's their happy place. And that only comes from the energy that is driven within that space. Well, probably starts with the owners or owner and then the trainers. It's that experience. But when people come, what I think and what we've worked really hard on is creating more than just the workout. I think the workouts are great. I'm obviously very biased in one particular side, right, with F45 and now FS8, but I think it's a great workout, but we really make the difference. The people make the difference. And then someone new coming in, they see people chatting to each other, they get welcomed by people that they don't know, or they see people that they do know. And straight away, there's a sense of, hey, this is, I belong here. And I think that's huge.
What's one tactical things that you guys do to actually cultivate that? So, because that everyone says that. There must be something you can point to that you guys do in the week or in the month that you go, that's what we do to generate that.
We enter teams or individuals in fun runs.
Oh, man.
You know, there's a couple of big running races. I'll happily give out a free F45 Cayman t-shirt, kit everyone out and get them out on the streets. And especially in the early period, that helped put us on the map. And people were like, what is this? Like, what is F45? There's like 20 of you wearing a shirt, turning up to this fun run. Or, you know, the Cayman Marathon, which is the biggest race here, put in 4 teams every year. It's 4 relay teams. So it's that presence. But when a member joins, they're not just joining to do a workout 3, 4, 5 times a week. We've got like a golf group. We've got a pickleball group. You know, obviously the running, like enter all the running races, like I've mentioned. It's more. That's keeps people coming back.
I really like that concept of, you know, a lot of people think about retention as just kind of like, just give them a good workout and they'll stay. It's pretty old school thinking, isn't it? I really love the idea of what if, this is what I mean about you set the tone in your place, right? It's like the big vision here, the big idea is like, we want this studio here, regardless of what the logo is, to be the third space on this island, not the pub, not the this, not the that, not the this, but this is their third space. So then if that were true, you could almost do a brainstorming session off the back of that. What would we need to do beyond the workout to create that environment for our members? Love that. And that probably feeds into my next question around, like, people probably talk about that. How many people on the island?
I think we're up to about 80,000.
We're up to. It feels like you're part of a target that you're trying to populate the
Well,
island.
it was around 60, 65 to 70 for a long time. It's definitely more than that now. I don't have the exact number right now, but it's around 75.
How would I get to Cayman Islands from Sydney?
Probably direct flight to either LA or Dallas, and then either from LA to Miami or Dallas to Miami, then to Cayman. It's not easy. It's not a short trip.
4 days to get there. Okay. Spilling out from that, you're creating this third space. You've got 570 members there that are singing your praises. Let's switch gears into marketing. What are your top strategies for consistently getting new leads into your business?
Well, what's worked well for us is organic content. I think F45 as a brand does a lot with their marketing in terms of the content that they provide, but it's generic. It looks great. But for us, people want to see their friends doing a workout. They want to see their friends winning a challenge or whatever it is, participating in a fun run. From a pure ad perspective, that has worked well for us and better than anything else.
Have you ditched the cheap trials yet, or are you still doing them?
You'll be pleased to know that we are doing a paid trial now.
Yes, that was my big goal for you guys.
I knew that question was coming too.
Yeah.
We're focusing this year on more quality leads.
Yeah.
And we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. Okay. So you're doing a lot of organic social stuff. You're leaning on showcasing people's friends that are on the island, winning comps, just winning at life, third space, just like through that angle. And then off the back of that, you're running now paid intro offers into your system. How are you guys making sales? Is it over the phone? Do they just come down to the studio? What can you share?
I've always kind of preferred the email route, and that's still our main method. We've tried the phone. It's not overly effective. It's just very hard to get a hold of people. I'm sure that's not unique to Cayman, but we're trialing WhatsApp, I guess the equivalent of an SMS. That's doing okay. That's actually doing really well on the FS8 side. That's been a new process for me to get my head around and stay on top of. Usually a lead will come in, we'll reach out by email, we'll book them in by email, follow up by email, obviously speak to them in the studio. We make sure they get a good induction first class. We make sure they get followed up with in person and by email. And that's work without having to rely on phone calls.
How do you hire, train, and keep a team that performs at such a high level?
Over time, people are noticing what we're doing and the community that we have. The last few hires that I've made have approached me on that basis, say, I'd really like to be a part of this team.
That's interesting.
It's taken us a while to get there. Traditionally, we haven't had a lot of turnover with staff, which I think I'm proud of over the years. Obviously, we have lost trainers here and there.
Not always a bad thing, though.
No, we lost some long-term trainers last year. We lost 3. Yeah, I remember. 3 coaches who had been with us for a long time, and it obviously created a hole. It was sad to see them leave, but they'd been with us for a long time. It's, they wanted to do more. What was pleasing was the coaches that we had kind of stepped in and filled any sort of void that was there. It presented opportunities for people to really step up and, kind of become one of the lead trainers, one of the more experienced guys. So, that's all part of it. Yeah, I mean, hiring, I feel like I'd like to think I've got a pretty robust process in terms of the interview, the onboarding process. We haven't always followed it. There's been a couple of times where we've just had to rush and hire people. It hasn't always worked out well, not unsurprisingly. It's definitely a good process that we have now, and we just make sure we get the right people. Try our best anyway.
Do you remember what we worked on quite recently? I got you to do some scribbles, and there was some training videos, talked about Chicago Bulls, ideal team design. Remember that?
I do. You're going to have to remind me though. I feel like my brain is full at the moment.
Well, I mean, a little while ago, there was just some clarity needed around how you structured your team.
I guess when I first properly reached out to you guys, I started working with Soph at the start, coming up with a plan because I was still very much in the business, which I didn't think was a bad thing. And not saying that it is, but with FS8 on the horizon, I knew that my time was going to be stretched. Yeah. I had some good team members that were, looking for opportunities to grow.
Yeah.
And with guidance from you guys, we were able to sit down and just remember like stuff like the boat chat,
Yeah.
just creating like an end goal, coming up with little incentive plans, more social team get-togethers, working as a team to reach our goals, which we'd never done before. Kind of transitioning from me kind of trying to keep control of everything and not really sharing member numbers or revenue with anyone else, because I just thought, well, that's my burden to carry around, not anyone else's. I just
Yeah, I
want them to
remember you saying
focus.
that.
What we've found is over time, and last year was great in this respect, was implementing these processes as suggested by you guys and getting all the team involved, getting them to understand that they all play a part in our success. And it's interesting because maybe I took it for granted, and I think some of the coaches probably didn't appreciate themselves how much kind of influence and impact they had on the team, on the members, and on me as well.
Wow.
So, to kind of lay it all out in terms of the trial process, it's calling it sales. I know it is sales, but try not to use that word in the studio because it just scares everyone. I mean, it's, what does a coach contribute to a trial converting to a member? Well, it's how they interact with that trialer. It goes all the way, plays a huge part, right? So getting them to understand that and buy into that was a huge win for us last year. Creating a leadership team was a massive step going into 2024. And that was off the back of those weekly calls with you and Soph. And yeah, we've just kind of continued on. I know you don't like the term stepped away, and to be honest, I don't either, but a lot more removed from F45 right now, and it's running smoothly.
I was saying elevate.
That was my word of the year.
Yes.
And for the team as well. Yeah, 100%. Everything was about elevating our performance, elevating, just everything, preparation, planning, and then your performance. It's just really focusing on just getting those things right and elevating everything we do. And that was a buzzword, certainly for me throughout last year.
And now you're at a record, hey? With 2 more. That's unreal, dude. Proud of you. What's your word for this year then?
Relentless. Not saying that the hard work is done, but it's about always wanting to grow and always wanting to improve. I'm actually reading the book Relentless. I'm not sure if you've read it, but I'm loving it. I'm not so much fixated on being the best. I think being recognized as the top studio in the network, it hit me a lot harder than I thought it would, in a good way, obviously. And it's something that, I realized way back at the very first North American conference, which I think was in 2018. So I think we were like 2 years old as a studio. And that was the very first out of Australia conference they'd done. And I remember seeing, all these studios get up and receive their kettlebell awards. And I just thought, I want to be number one. And then the first global conference in Vegas, the number one studio got presented, and I was like, yeah, I want that to be me one year. I want that to be us. And that was huge. So I guess there's a drive to be the best and to continue to be the best. For me, it's just all, it's always improving, always wanting to learn. And yeah, this year to be relentless and just keep driving.
You are different, dude. You're elite. Can you just fucking accept it?
I don't think I'm that different. We're all here to do something, right? To do something well.
For studio owners looking to scale, what's the biggest operational or mindset shift they need to make?
It's around staffing, and starting with the staffing is getting the right people.
But I like how you went to finding the right people versus trying to do it all yourself. That's interesting. There's been a shift.
There has been a huge shift. Yeah, I mean, for a number of reasons. I think not just saying this because I'm chatting to you now, but I think working with you guys has really opened my eyes and changed the way I think about certain things. Some of my senior staff members have commented saying that they've seen a shift in like my mindset and how I operate. That kind of gives me a bit of comfort. Part of it is delegating, because that was something I never could do or never did very well. Giving other people ownership as well and giving them the opportunity to grow. And to be completely honest, I think, one of our trainers, he left because there was a ceiling. And don't want to say I didn't try to help him, but it's a two-way street, and it's not a lifetime job for everyone. But when you've got someone that has the drive and the passion similar to what you do as an owner, then, you kind of want to unleash that, right? And I think me taking a step to the side with F45 has helped a couple of senior members of my team to really step in and step up.
All the time. Happens all the time. A lot of people might look at what you've done and gone, he's lucky. He's just lucky. I don't know, for whatever reason, on the Cayman Islands, maybe everyone's loaded. There's no other gyms. What would you say to that? How much of this is hard work, strategy, or just pure luck?
It's funny, I think everything in life involves an element of luck. I'm not going to lie, I have been lucky in certain ways and with certain things, but I don't think anyone could look at F45 and say that we've been lucky. We opened, there was 2 of us. We've coached every single class. I was in the studio every single day doing all the emails, doing all the marketing, which I had no idea what to do. I had no idea what pre-sales was. We opened with 80 members, and I thought that was fantastic. because I didn't know how to run a pre-sales. And we ran classes with one or two people and we weren't successful straight away. And I think it was the grind. I think being in the studio helped because I did get to know the members very well, very quickly. From there, it's hard work. It is hard work. You've got to have the drive to get out of bed every day and do the same thing or do something different, have some structure. That's something I've worked a lot on over the last 12 months is creating a lot more structure within my day. And even within my week. Surprised you haven't brought up Separation Sunday yet, but following that process, I read all the time. I'm reading books. I follow people. I know we follow the same types of people, read the same books. Am I lucky? I think I am very lucky, but I think the success that we've had as a studio and the success that FS8 is seeing very early on is very much down to hard work.
What do you think most studio owners are doing wrong or refusing to believe that's holding them back?
I'm not spending money to make money. And I'm not talking about being crazy and wasting money. Working with you, for example, building processes, hiring more staff. We started F45. Like I said, it was myself and my business partner that were in the studio every single day. We were a staff of 2 for nearly the first 12 months. I know you did something similar with your F45. It's all well and good, but it's not sustainable. But the second you start putting money back into the business, whether it be marketing or extra staffing, I think that's been the needle mover for us is, just investing back into the staff, getting good people on board, not holding back on replacing equipment. New equipment comes out, like not holding back, just ordering it straight away. Like we've got these new awesome racks coming into F45, which is going to change the programming, but I think is going to be a huge game changer for us, really. But, I didn't hesitate when that became available. It obviously wasn't a cheap bit of kit, but we decided, we need it. Let's get it in. To be completely fair, like obviously you need the money to be able to spend it, but I think you've just got to keep making those improvements, servicing the members, because if they come into a dirty studio, a rundown studio, the equipment's rusted, or, you're missing a bike because it's broken down and you can't be bothered replacing it, like it makes a huge difference to the member experience.
Totally.
That's something I've been very conscious of is, maintaining a very clean and well-run studio. And I think that's paid dividends over the years.
Was there a moment when you thought, fuck, I don't know if I can keep doing this? I don't know if
there have been many moments.
Really?
Trust me. Yeah, many moments, especially over the last kind of 6 months. It's a lot, right? And obviously a lot goes into it. When I opened F45, I didn't have kids. There was, I was younger and I didn't know what I was doing. So I knew how to work hard, but I always worked for someone else. That was a huge kind of mindset shift.
What got you through it?
Initially, I think it was just being so busy that I didn't have time to sit and think about it. I just didn't have a choice. It was either get it done or just, or die, right? But I think that's kind of given me that drive to work and to succeed. And now it's trying to be more smart about it. I've got 2 kids now. I've got a wife. The challenge for us has been her opening her own business as well. It's been a lot. And there have been times where I just think I'm not sure I can do this anymore. You wake up, and you just go again.
Yeah. That's awesome, man. To bring it home, let's kind of think about our listeners who are sitting here going, fuck, what a legend. This guy's done this. Okay, I've definitely kind of picked up a couple of clues here, but let's give them a little present here, some takeaways. If a studio owner's listening to this, if they could take away one thing from today's chat that they could implement tomorrow to get their business into tip-top shape and to really get themselves on a different trajectory, what would it be?
It's tough. I think it's different for everyone, different to each market. Perhaps, you've already told me that some of my drivers, I guess, are fairly generic and, I get that point. If you don't have those foundations like customer service, learning names, building that, like I said, it's a people business. And I know there are people out there or groups out there that own multiple studios, master franchises. And I know they can be successful, but I also guarantee they've got at least 1 or 2 people in every studio that are 100% bought into it and treat it like their own business. Because otherwise I don't think it works in this industry. Is you can't just buy a studio, hire staff and just walk away. Obviously I've been too extreme in the sense of just being in there too much. And, obviously we've worked together to comfortably get out of that scenario and to get into more of that's a great word, to get to a point where it is more sustainable. And it's allowed me to work on obviously another project, come into FS8 with a completely different perspective and a completely different game plan, already looking at, call it succession planning, but, I'm always trying to think ahead and not just, this next day. I'm trying to think, what do I need to do to get to where I want to be? What do I need to do to get the studio or where I want it to be? And I think going back to something I said earlier, my advice to anyone is, just always be learning. listen to podcasts, get involved with people like yourself. Obviously, you just have this huge passion and drive to help people to be successful, and people feed off that. Right. So I think people that just believe that they know everything and are happy to just sit back and think, well, I know how to do this, and don't want to ask for help, they're the ones that they just kind of drift away and be never seen again.
And do you know who I feel sorry for the most in that situation? Not them, but their members, because now they've lost their third space. It's been awesome watching you. I'll give you the one thing that I think you do that is common amongst the uncommon. You said it when you talked about, when you saw that person walk up on stage in Vegas, you went, that's going to be me. So that's the vision. And then you brought back that as a really finite goal for everyone, and you set the standards off the back of that. It's how you hired, it's how you nurtured your team, it's the level of your member experience. Like a broken bike, a lot of people would have just handled a broken bike and left it in the garage or the shed and just like not worried about it. Like clean steer, like everything, just at such a high standard. So when I see you doing Separation Sunday every single Sunday and I reshare it, like that's just one of the things that you do. Like you've just made it a non-negotiable for you. And it's almost like you made it a non-negotiable that you guys will be number one. And so you're sitting here now with multiple studios and, staring down the barrel of 2025. Your keyword, relentless. Like what does that mean for you for this year? What does relentless mean for you?
Just continually pushing forward, trying to be better. Steal a phrase, 1% better every day. If you work towards that, then it's no going backwards. It's all forward motion. Planning ahead and being prepared, not just firefighting, being proactive, not reactive. Yeah, relentless for me is just head down, enjoying the process. I love what I do. I think that really helped. I know you do too.
All right, I would do it for free. I won't.
Yeah.
But I would do it for free. I got mouse to feed now. Mate, you're an absolute legend. This couldn't have happened to a nicer bloke and someone who deserves it like you did, my friend. Listeners, I want you might have to listen to this episode a few more times as well, just to really grab all the nuggets that Ian dropped. But I want you to pick one thing that you heard and really kind of sit with it, cement it in this year. And why don't you decide to make this year either elevate or relentless, or choose a buzzword for you this year that you get your entire team wrapped around and actually make a material difference to what's happening in your business and in the lives of hundreds of people in your local area. And yeah, that whole third space thing, that's probably where I'd start. Ian, you're a legend, dude. Absolute pleasure having you around, my friend. And see you on the next call.
Thanks a lot, Dave. I love your work. Thanks for having me.
See you, brother. Thanks for tuning in to today's episode. If something resonated with you, then do one of two things. Either leave a review or send this episode to a mate who's in the industry who might need to hear this. But if you want more right now, because your head might be spinning and you're like, all right, what the hell do I do right now? Then in the show notes, you'll find a link to where you can book in for a free 15-minute checkup on your studio, where we get to have a look at how you're going right now and where some of the kind of quick win opportunities are to get you moving faster. I can't wait to be back in your ears next week. And if you're listening to this right now, I want you to know that I love you, I appreciate you, I'm grateful for you, and I'm in your corner. You are on the right track and I believe in you. So keep going, and I'll see you next week.